we do a lot. Public relations is, it's been a big changing field over the last, I would say, decade or so. And it's everything from media relations, working with the media on news stories and websites, blogs, reviewers, news crews, any kind of press coverage of the orchestra comes through my department. I also work in institutional communications, so strategic communication, positioning of the orchestra, and the many facets of who we are. And that can be anything from internal, working with board and constituents, to outside public. It's part of our messaging through our publications, through our website, through any vehicles of communication are all elements that I liaise with different people around the building on. I have been a writer for years, but was a musician by background, and chose to go the journalism route instead of the musician route, and just sort of discovered PR along the way when I was in journalism training. So my degree is actually in journalism with a specialization in public relations, and along the way through various internships I sort of discovered how I could take something else I loved and was good at, being writing and journalism, and apply it towards something I was very passionate about, being the arts. So I've spent about 13 years working only in the field of the arts. Probably 11 of which, well, let me think. It's probably been a little bit longer than that, but I would say the last 12 or 13 years have been in the orchestra. I also previously worked for a ballet shortly, and also for an opera. There's challenges every day. I mean, I've been here for about a year and a half now, but even, I would say more just overall in PR in general. I think the biggest challenges are often in just communication of who an institution is. Sometimes it can vary, different people perceive you differently. Here at the ASO, we have so many profiles, from the chorus to the youth orchestra to the actual orchestra itself, 3 different performance venues. So I find here the biggest challenge has been helping people understand who we actually are as a performer, as a presenter, as an educator, the different outlets we use to actually put that information out there and put ourselves out there in the community, and be able to link it all together as people know who we are and what we actually do in this city. It's changed a lot, but I think a lot of what I can speak to most is how it's changed specifically in my field of what I need to do on the public relations / marketing front, which is, how orchestras are positioning themselves, what we're doing to reach our audiences. I've worked for places who didn't have a record label, places who do have one, and even those who did have them didn't have the amount of recordings we do here at the Atlanta Symphony. So recordings are certainly one way I think an orchestra uses to get itself out there internationally, which is a great thing, especially something like the ASO, who does not tour internationally on a regular basis. Other places such as the New York Philharmonic or Chicago Symphony may not have the recording deal that we have here, but they travel internationally regularly. So I think that sometimes that recording industry, the music industry, so to speak, on a recording level, can be a way for orchestras to get out what they're doing on a different level. As that's changing, I think it's just from orchestra to orchestra. It depends on what they're all doing to respond to it. For us, it's kind of a new thing here that TELARC has kind of gone under, and we're still recording. How we'll distribute what we'll do going forward, I don't know. We already work with iTunes. Any recording we do is obviously there. But I think there's ringtones, there's downloads, there's a million different ways that you can put your product out there. What we've been doing here lately is working more with, we did our first live webcast last season. We do a lot of interactive video documentaries on different events that we do here, online photo albums, and all this funnels through my department. And these are all ways of getting out who we are. Because the other side of what's happening is, I just think with the economy in general, there's a lot of things that are declining besides just record companies. On the PR front, it's newspapers. And the media that we're using to get our message out through is changing and declining and frankly going away. So part of that moving forward into internet and new media and what we're doing is also a part of how do we as PR professionals find new ways to tell our story to our audiences and beyond and get our messages out. And so these are all ways that serve many purposes. We get a lot of really great response. The hits that we get from the webcast we did, we got, for us down here in Atlanta, I think it was good. We had something like 700 people that watched it that day. We did our season announcement press conference, which announced the season we're about to begin. we had another, several hundreds that watched it over the coming weeks. We've since edited it down and then taken that video and applied it in different areas of the website to help with ticket sales and make it more interactive. So that's just one side of what we've done. And I think all of us it's the hot topic in my field. It's all like, okay, what else can we do and what do we do with it? And then of course you have the resources to do it. You have the resources and the money and the funding to do it, which is hard in this day and age as well. So we have a few things here that other orchestras don't have that allow us to do that. Other orchestras have their own resources that everyone has their own way of doing it. So we're still experimenting, and I think time will tell. We actually, here in Atlanta, we have Turner Broadcasting, and they donated what is called, what we nicknamed it the Turner Kit. And essentially what it is it's a ready-made kit that's for webcasting. So it comes with 4 cameras, a soundboard, a director, headsets, you name it. Anything you would need for a TV broadcast is kind of included in this kit, and it's 4 huge, crates that are self-contained. They turn into tables to hold the production board and what have you. And you just plug it into the wall basically, and you're live. So that was something that was donated to us. It was originally put together to be used for college sports, but the sort of smaller universities who don't have NCAA agreements or don't have Fox Sports or ESPN to cover them, a way to put their sports out on the web. So, a rugby match that you may not usually see on ESPN, they can webcast it or things of that nature. So we were the first arts organization that they gave this to. And our first webcast use was last January. And then we've since recorded other events. We just did our festival, the Music Ardiente Festival, did a video on that we used the kits for. And what it does is it's, 4 cameras in the hall. So it's like watching, professional broadcast or watching live from Lincoln Center with jumping around to different shots and angles from where the cameras are placed. So it's been really fun. And we also have a videographer we work with that we just hire who shoots events for us that we put out little mini videos for. We did one for Dr. Atomic, we did one for Heidi's Creation, Verizon last summer and this summer. So there's a lot that we've been putting on our web with it. But the Turner kits are something unique that we have that were donated to us versus having to purchase it. So they're ours to use however, whenever we want, working with the orchestra, of course, on agreements. Well, fundraising isn't my thing, so I can't really speak to how the fundraising happens. I mean, my role here is to support those efforts. So, I'm not here to sell tickets, but I'm here to support those ticket sales.
How do you do that?
And all of us, I think, ultimately are here to get people into our hall and experience the orchestra in whatever various ways we all are working. In the education department, you're growing a future musician base to possibly be on the stage or, be in our audience. In marketing, we're constantly finding new ways to bring in new audiences because the fact is audiences are getting older. That subscription in the past isn't what people want to do today. I don't want to commit every Thursday for the next 32 weeks. I don't. And many people like us are the same way. So what else can we do? So it's become more creative marketing, creative packaging, creative pricing. So social networking has become a big part of that. Even with fundraisers, these are people who obviously love the arts. They're already here. You get them involved. They're leaders in the community. And my job on the PR front is to get those messages out so that all those various audiences know what we're doing to hopefully keep the interest going and keep those sales going and keep the momentum. So that's sort of where I come into that picture. The economy, no one has ever been through this before, so who knows what will happen with that. We're getting ready to celebrate our 65th anniversary season. This orchestra is known nationally and internationally for being innovative and creative and forward-thinking and creating new traditions, shaping new traditions, being innovative, doing new things. Our audiences here respond to the concerts and programming we do differently than many orchestras around the country. They come out to see something like the Atlanta School of Composers, and Jennifer Higdon is like a rock star in our lobby, whereas other orchestras can't sell new music to save their life. So I just think there's different audiences that respond to what you do differently, and you have to key yourself into your community. That's really like a key. You have to be connected to your community, to serve that community that you're a part of, but also to know what they want and be able to service those needs and offer things that are interesting to the people around you. Otherwise, you're kind of working in a vacuum. So that's all part of what you have to do going forward. I don't think orchestras are going anywhere. Times are tough for lots of people, and we've always struggled in the nonprofit community, whether you're the Cancer Society or the Atlanta Symphony. You know, we just keep moving forward and doing what we do best and offering great music and, you know, onward.